Donald Trump is the first U.S. president in history to be a convicted felon. That's not an opinion. A jury convicted him on 34 counts in 2024.
But here's what most people get wrong. Some of his cases ended in conviction, some were dismissed entirely, some were still being appealed right now.
So today, we're doing this the fair way. Every major case against him, what he was accused of, what actually happened, and what his lawyers argue in his defense.
No spin, just the charges, the rulings, and the current status as of 2026. At the end, the AI verdict and where it all actually spans.
Let's go case by case. Case 1, the New York hush money case. This is the big one because it's the only one that reached a verdict.
What was he accused of? Falsifying business records. Prosecutors said Trump disguised a $130,000 payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels as legal expenses to hide it before the 2016 election.
The allegation was that Daniels said she had an encounter with Trump and the payment was meant to keep her quiet before voters went to the polls.
In May 2024, a Manhattan jury found him guilty on all 34 felony counts. That made him the first U.S. president ever convicted of a crime.
And the punishment?
With Proseneves, in January 2025, Judge Juan Merchan sentenced him to what's called an unconditional discharge. No jail, no fine, no probation. The conviction stays on his record, but with no penalty attached.
Now, Trump's side. What does he argue?
He denies any wrongdoing. His lawyers call it lawfare, a politically motivated prosecution. They've argued the payment was a private matter before he was president, and they've leaned hard on presidential immunity.
And it's not over.
Correct. As of 2026, he's actively appealing, both in the New York state system and trying to move it to federal court. If the appeal succeeds, the conviction could be wiped entirely.
Case 2 and 3, the two big federal cases. And here's the twist. Both are completely gone now.
First, the classified documents case. Special counsel Jack Smith accused Trump of illegally keeping classified national security documents at Mar-a-Lago after leaving office and obstructing efforts to get them back.
Second, the election interference case. Smith charged him with conspiring to overturn his 2020 loss to Biden, tied to the January 6th Capitol riot.
These were the most serious charges he faced.
So what happened to them?
Both were dismissed before he took office in January 2025. Long-standing Justice Department policy says you can't prosecute a sitting president. So once Trump won the 2024 election, Smith wound both cases down.
So this is critical to be fair about. These cases we never decided on the facts. No jury ruled on guilt or innocence. They were dropped for procedural reasons.
And Trump's position throughout was that both were politically motivated witch hunts designed to damage his campaign. He pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Current status?
Status is gone. Neither federal case is active. They cannot be revived while he's president.
Case 4, Georgia, the state election case.
Fulton County prosecutors accused Trump and several allies of a criminal scheme to overturn Georgia's 2020 election result, including the famous phone call where he asked officials to find enough votes to win the state.
This one had a messy road.
It did. First, it got frozen while courts examined whether District Attorney Fani Willis should be disqualified over a conflict of interest. Then, in November 2025, a new prosecutor took over and decided not to pursue it at all.
So the judge?
Dismissed. The case in its entirety. As of 2026, the Georgia case is over.
Trump always maintained the call was perfect and that he did nothing wrong, that he was legitimately questioning the election results.
Status is dismissed. No trial ever happened.
Now we move from criminal to civil, and this one hit his wallet hard. The New York civil fraud case.
New York Attorney General Letitia James accused Trump, his two adult sons, and the Trump Organization of fraud, specifically inflating the value of his properties to get better loans and insurance terms.
And the judge agreed.
In February 2024, Judge Arthur Engoron ruled that Trump committed persistent and repeated fraud. The original penalty was about $355 million. With interest, it climbed past $450 million.
That's one of the largest financial judgments in American legal history.
Trump's defense, he argued that the properties were actually undervalued, that banks were repaid in full and lost nothing, and that the whole case was political persecution by a Democratic attorney general.
Current status?
On appeal. The judgment exists, but he's challenging it. This is civil, not criminal, meaning money, not jail.
Last major one, the E. Jean Carroll cases, 2 separate civil trials.
Writer E. Jean Carroll alleged Trump sexually assaulted her in a department store in the mid-1990s and then defamed her when he publicly denied it and called it a hoax.
2 juries, 2 verdicts.
In 2023, a jury found Trump liable for sexual abuse and defamation, awarding Carroll $5 million. In 2024, a separate jury awarded her $83.3 million for additional defamation.
He appealed both.
Yes, and as of 2026, the appeals courts have repeatedly upheld the verdicts. The Second Circuit declined to rehear them. Now he's asking the Supreme Court to step in, arguing presidential immunity.
Trump's position. He says he has no idea who she is, denies it ever happened, calls it a politically motivated fabrication timed to damage him.
And to be precise and fair, the jury found him liable for sexual abuse under New York law. It specifically did not find him liable for rape. That distinction matters.
Current status, verdicts upheld on appeal, but he's still fighting them at the Supreme Court level. Notice a pattern across all of these? One argument keeps coming up: presidential immunity.
In July 2024, the Supreme Court ruled that presidents have broad immunity from prosecution for official acts while in office.
How big was that?
Enormous. It reshaped every case. It's the backbone of his appeals. The argument that much of what he's accused of either can't be prosecuted or can't even be used as evidence.
And this is genuinely debated by legal scholars?
Yes. Supporters say it protects the presidency from politically motivated prosecutions, that without it, every ex-president gets hounded by their successors. Critics say it places presidents partly above the law. Both are serious arguments.
So it's not a settled question, it's a real constitutional debate.
All right, AI verdict, but not a verdict on guilt, a verdict on the facts. Where does it all actually stand in 2026?
Here's the honest scoreboard. Convicted and standing. Hush money, 34 felony counts. Convicted, no penalty imposed, under appeal. Civil liability upheld. Civil fraud, approximately $450 million in judgment, under appeal. E. Jean Carroll, $5 million plus $83.3 million, upheld on appeal, headed to Supreme Court. Dismissed, gone. Federal classified documents, dismissed. Federal election interference, dismissed. Georgia election case, dismissed.
So what's the fair summary?
AI verdict. One criminal conviction on the books, but with no punishment and an act of appeal. Significant civil judgments, but those are money, not jail, and also under appeal. And the most serious criminal cases, all dismissed without ever reaching a jury.
The key thing people miss? Dismissed doesn't mean proven innocent, and convicted doesn't mean the appeals are over. The legal picture is genuinely unfinished.
AI probability read: hush money conviction survives appeal, 55%. Civil judgments ultimately upheld, 60%. Any case results in actual jail time, under 5%. Supreme Court takes up an immunity appeal, 50%.
Bottom line, the most accurate thing you can say is this: he's a convicted felon whose conviction carried no penalty, who faces large civil judgments under appeal, while his most serious charges were dropped for procedural reasons, not decided on the facts.
Anyone who tells you it's simpler than that in either direction is telling you something.
So there it is, 5 major legal fronts, 1 conviction, 2 civil losses, 3 dismissals, and a Supreme Court immunity ruling sitting over all of it.
Why does this matter beyond Trump? Because these cases are setting precedents about what a president can and can't be held accountable for. That outlasts any single person.
So here's what we want from you.
And keep it civil in the comments. After seeing the actual status of every case, do you think the system treated him fairly, too harshly, or too softly?
We're genuinely curious how our audience reads it. Drop your take below, but argue the facts, not the person.
And subscribe. We do these fact-checked, both sides breakdowns on the biggest legal and political stories. No spin, just the documented record.
Next video, we break down the presidential immunity ruling itself, because that single Supreme Court decision is quietly reshaping American power.
Stay informed, think for yourself. See you in the next one.